California. You're coming at you. All right. It's Greg Reitz live with Corbin Claypool. Thank you, Corbin Claypool Lending Group, Vero Mortgage, Fresno, Clovis, Madera, for being with us on the podcast. We're going to give more value to the clients, right?
Amen. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that being said, what we're doing today, guys, everybody grab their pencil and paper, pen, whatever works for you. We want to talk about today what top agents, but what a top lender, more importantly, is doing for their clients, their employees, and their business, mostly for the clients in any market, but especially in the market that we're in now, the real estate market, and how you're succeeding at a high level, Corbin, with everything going on.
So where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start on the business side or the client side? Because those are two different ones that I can go into.
Well, let's start with what you do for your business to succeed at a high level right now.
Perfect. Dude, thank you so much for having me on. This is fun. But I wanted to start out with something that I saw the other day from a person who I've spoken with a few times. He's a great dude. He's actually the number one mortgage producer in the whole entire nation. Really good dude. And he made a really good post the other day about how he's been doing this a long time. Sorry, my camera goes a little weird sometimes. He's been doing this a long time, and doing the basics over and over and over and over is what works. Building relationships, following up, touching bases, customer service, like all of these things. This camera's driving me crazy. It's like not focusing in, but all of there it goes. God damn. All of these things that are out there now, and I'm not saying are bad. I do a lot of social media. It's helped me create branding. It's helped me create awareness. But when people really go, well, Corbin, how are you closing the amount of deals you're doing? It's like, dude, I'm in the office every day. And I make my calls and I follow up with my clients and I deliver great customer service. And when I make a mistake, I own up to it and say, I messed this one up. I have a situation that I actually messed up a little bit, and I'll just be honest, like it was a reverse mortgage. And I didn't realize that. Well, I did know this because I've done them before, but we don't do that many of them. And the educational course has to be done for the client to start the process. Well, long story short, she didn't do the educational process again because we had her in an escrow about a year ago. I didn't realize that she needed to do another one. She had to do another one. It delayed us a week. We went over the escrow time period. But instead of like blaming it, which a lot of loan officers do, blaming it on everybody else, we said, look, we messed up. I told my agent, hey, I messed this up. I should have known this. I should have researched this a little bit better. How can we accommodate and make this happen? So what we did is we gave the client $1,000 credit to help just with the trouble, right? And then we just went above and beyond to make sure that we get this thing done as fast as humanly possible. And we ended up closing a few days after the escrow process. But I say that because it's like that's how you got to do business. You got to be straight up. And a lot of the deals that we've gotten from other lenders that maybe the deal's fallen out, it's almost like the loan officer digs themselves a hole because they feed the agent a bunch of lies because they're scared to be honest. And I get it because they don't want that pressure, or they don't want the agents coming after them or getting mad at them, and they feel like it's making them look bad. But you actually look better by how you perform in those situations. So when things are not going your way and you mess up, do you own up to it, or do you blame it on somebody else? Do you push the blame on somebody else? So that's something that I've noticed has been good and helped my business. And actually, it's kind of funny. I'll say, hey, I messed up on this. And that agent ends up wanting to work with me because they're like, dude, we've never had a loan officer admit that they completely messed something up. Is this how you do business? I'm like, yeah, this is how I do it. If I make a mistake, I'm going to let you know 99% of the time, we're not going to make a mistake and we're going to get shit done and we're going to close on time. But the time that it does happen, we're going to be straight up. So I think just those basic fundamentals of customer service, being honest, following up, getting in the office, calling the clients, when there's a frustration or an irritation, like calling the client and figuring out what's up, not just sending it over to somebody on your team, and not addressing it. Oh, well, my team can handle that. This client's not worth my time. My team can handle that. Well, yeah, the team can handle 99% of the stuff, but 1% of the stuff that comes back on your plate that the client has questions or concerns, we got to handle that. We got to figure out, okay, let me dive into this. What's going on? How can we fix this? Where did we mess up? Where did we fall short? And so I feel like that's honestly, Greg, what's helped me. And I've had to learn, because there's been times when my pride has gotten ahead of my business, and I've been like, oh, I'm crushing it. Nobody's better than me, this and that. And then God comes and humbles me really fast, because, if we don't humble ourselves, God will humble us 100%. Right. You see it time and time again. And you're seeing it now with these influencers online, where a lot of them they've been making a lot of money. They've been scamming people, and a lot of them are actually going to prison. Some of them, not a lot of them, but some of them are going to prison for scamming people and stuff. So my point in saying that is, like, we just have to be straight up with people and do the basic fundamental things every day and show up every day. If you show up every day, that's half the battle. So you got me in a tangent, man, because I get real passionate about this stuff. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing then, like, to reiterate one last time, work daily is needed. Have a team. If not, have the customer service there and available 100% of the time to help the clients. Good customer service, good follow-up, making sure nothing fits through the cracks. And if it does, and there's something slips through the cracks, or there was a mistake made up to it, correct it right away to relieve the stress to the client, which is rare, but it does happen. That's great. And so that's winning in your business too. And that's how the business has grown. Just like my business in real estate, it's the same way. The same thing you just said applies to real estate. I don't have to go all through that then, because it's the same. So you would say that applies towards the client too, then, the same way, to build the client relationships.
100%. I mean, ultimately, there's lead sources that you can buy. There's different, silver shiny objects and this and that. But really what it comes down to is delivering, right? Like, the product has to be good. You can do all the marketing. And I think a lot of loan officers miss this piece. You can do all the marketing you want, but if you deliver a shitty product, you're going to have a leaky bucket, and the water's just going to keep spilling out. So you got to have a bucket that actually fills up water, and that's your customer service. That's your service. We're a service-based business. Everything we do has to be to the highest level. We're not giving a product. The product isn't, a Toyota Camry that speaks for itself, that lasts forever. You buy a Toyota Camry that lasts forever. Boom, you go to Toyota. Yeah, you want great customer service, but you're really buying the product. We are the product, and we have to provide that service to the clients ultimately.
Absolutely. So our goal is to deliver the right home, the right loan, the home and the loan. By the way, Greg and Corbin have the home and the loan.
Yep.
The right home at the right price in the right amount of time, with the right terms that the buyer likes, right?
Right.
And if we do that with as stress-free or as little stress as possible, it's a beautiful thing.
100% agree. 100% agree, man. That's all ultimately what it boils down to. And that's, I feel like, why we work so great together, because I've made mistakes, you've made mistakes, but we always come together and we always own up to it and make things right. We were just talking about that before we.
So I've got another question.
Yeah.
That the buyers watching this maybe asking, or sellers, what should a buyer looking for a home loan look for in a lender? What should a home buyer look for in a lender when they're deciding which lender to use?
That's a great question. I think a home buyer should be looking for somebody that's closing a lot of deals. I don't think that a home buyer should be looking for somebody that's doing this part-time. You need somebody that's doing a lot of deals. And the reason why is because that person has seen multiple different loan scenarios. And don't get it twisted. It's not just getting your stuff and boom, the loan's done. There is a lot of documentation and a lot of knowledge that, as a loan officer, we have to know how to get a loan done. And so, yeah, anybody can do a 25% down conventional loan, 20% conventional loan. The guy's a salaried employee, making great income, has the money in the bank. Okay, of course, that's easy to do. But what about the 3 clients that I just approved this last week that weren't approved at another lender, that had a mortgage late, that had some situations, that had some stuff on their file, and I was able to work through it using my knowledge of doing over 1,000 loans, of going, hey, I've seen this scenario, similar scenario, because there's also a cool thing in this business that I love, that no 2 scenarios are the same. That's what keeps it different. We're constantly having to figure out and learn new guidelines and all this. But, working with somebody that's doing a lot of business so that they can help structure, help fix deals, help, get that family that didn't think they could buy a home in a home. Right. And so that's one thing. Of course, you want a person that has great fees and interest rates and all that. But guys, let me tell you the truth here. If you guys want the absolute best, go find an online lender, because there's online lenders out there that are going to do it for a fraction of the cost. They're going to do it for super cheap. But a lot of them also have green LOs work in those systems that maybe your loan has issues. I know a lot of realtors experience that. That's why they're not a big fan of online lenders. And that's that. My point is, you're always going to be able to find a cheaper rate. Always. There's always going to be a lender out there trying to
cut. It's kind of like, and I've noticed that to be true too. As a real estate agent, when I list property, I give the best professional fee I can to my seller, because I have overhead and I got to make a living, and I'll negotiate where it's a win-win for everybody, right? So we're happy. But there's a certain minimum that I can't go below it. I can't have a business. Right. I can't take care of my employees. We can't do this, right? And so I understand where you're coming from. And, that's one of those things. You get what you pay for. Hear me now. You get what you pay for, and you get what you don't pay for. So if you pay cheap and you're not paying, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get that kind of service. So we've got to know that. And anyways, and on those online lenders, Corbin, it's a lot of, it's not so good, boss. We have a hard time even closing them. They're not the preferred lender. So it's a hard time to even close them. So that sometimes the buyer loses the transaction because they try to give 1/8 of a point or 1/4 point on their interest rate, or $25 or $35 a month, and they don't even get the house.
And not only that, a lot of these lenders that are giving the lower rates are not really. Because when you actually look at it at the end of the day, when they price it out and they have the real loan scenario and they're not pricing it off of a 25% down 800 FICO score, the interest rate ends up not being where they thought it was going to be.
So if I'm hearing you right, what they should look for in a good real estate agent like myself, Greg Reitz team at Corbin Claypool Group Lending, the home and the loan, they should look for somebody local that knows the market, that they can get in front of here, that has a good reputation. Maybe look online for Google and in either social media or Google reviews, Zillow reviews, which you got Zillow reviews, so do I, and Google. So they know who they're dealing with.
Right.
And maybe even by referral, do some checking in on those people, right? Okay.
100%.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that you hit the nail on the head. I mean, ultimately, work with somebody local, work with somebody that's doing a lot of production, so they can make sure you have a good, solid loan. Look at their reviews, and listen to your agents, because agents are typically going to work with people that get the job done for the most part.
So, as a top producing agent, I know what it takes to be on the top 1% that sells in the United States, as you are in lending. What does your day look like? A normal day in home lending?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I get in the office pretty early, anywhere from 8 to 8:30, sometimes sooner. And today I got in a little bit later, but it sounds crazy, but I mean, I spend the first few hours trying to prospect, trying to reach out to clients, and then I spend the rest of the day helping clients. That's it. I mean, I help clients with their loan pre-approvals. Maybe my loan partner is like, hey, dude, can you take a second look at this? And I can, we can put 2 brains to figure out a deal. I'm helping clients that are currently in escrow that maybe they have some specific questions for me and I can answer that. And I'm just being available, which I think is insanely effective. This sounds stupid, but it's the truth. It's insanely effective in a time when people don't want to work. I have never been a part of an industry where there's so many people that show up at 11 and leave at 2. I mean, it's
It's
insane.
ridiculous, and that's another reason when you are top closing professionals in real estate sales and home. Again, we have the home and the loan is because we're available. But what I'm also hearing you say is pick an agent and pick a lender that works as a team, me and you, and that really cares about people, cares about the transaction, and cares about that seller, that buyer. In my side, it would be sellers and buyers and investors. On your side, it would be investors and buyers. That you really care about that client, and we cuddle them with their first-time home buyers, and they need help all the way through the transaction. We have the resources. We give it to them every time. You're on the lending side. You're cuddling them and taking them through with your team through every step of the process. So the fear is gone, and the excitement is there, and they're soon going to get their keys. What do you
Greg,
think?
you bring up such a good point, man. The people that care about their client, right? And I know a lot of people say that, but it's the truth, because I want to say a little story here is when I first got in the industry, I was like, oh, I want to make this amount of money. I had money goals. And of course we have a certain amount of money that we want to make, and there's no problem with that, right? Everybody has an income that they want to hit. But I stopped looking at my business as I want to make this much revenue in my business. And I started looking at it like, I want to help this many people. How many people can I help? I want to, empower loan officers that are a part of my branch to succeed, right? Like I stopped looking at it like I want to make money and I want to, make an impact. And it sounds super cheesy, but it's the reality. And I feel like that's the difference maker this year, because I've just been focused on that, and it's been a lot easier to get in the office. I've had a lot more fun doing what I'm doing because I'm going for something that's bigger than just the dollar, the almighty dollar.
And you brought that up coincidentally because we care. I actually had higher goals, very high goals before, and I noticed, and I made this mistake. I'm talking to the public. I made this mistake where I've always cared, but they became more of a transaction instead of a friend and a client. Because my goal is to make every one of my clients a friend, right? And we go through the process. So I actually had to curb my production a little bit to get that one-on-one service at a highest level I can, me and our team that are trained that way, so that we can have that 100% 5-star rating taking care of our clients. So it's okay that I slowed down and don't have that big old goal. It's still a hefty goal, but it's obtainable with great customer service and one-on-one caring and love with that client, right? Saying that's what I hear you saying. That's how I am now. And I'm happier doing that. This is about being happy. If you're happy, if we're happy, the client's going to feel the happiness, right? Our employees are going to feel the happiness, the team, and we're in a good space with that.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
So I agree. I think we got the same thing going this year. Is there anything else you want to add to this podcast?
No, man, I appreciate you bringing me on. I feel like you're right. Our synergy between our teams this year is insane. We're closing deals. We're getting people pre-approved. Guys, if you have questions on the loan process or getting pre-approved, reach out to Greg or I. We're more than happy to help you. We've got a world of knowledge and lots of experience, and
I got 10 years experience. My admin, Kylie, she's my daughter. She cares about people too. She's the love bug. I call her Bug. She's got about 5-6 years full-time admin and real estate. We've got the inspector, everybody in-house, and we've got 2 awesome buyer and listing agents, Stephanie Madrigal and Jamie Duke. I want to look at my board. I want to share this right now. Most agents have 1 to 3 transactions. Even some of the teams have just a few transactions, right? And this is with a lot of care and love. And the reason we have this many is because we show that care and concern for the buyer, seller, investor, and they give us referrals. That's how it works, right? Same thing with you. So we just put another one on the board this morning, and we have 19 transactions on the board. 19. So just call it 20, 2019. And I'm telling you, that's awesome. But
that's incredible.
Bring us business. Business, and sometimes you get them. They refer you business, and because they worked with us before, you shoot them right back to me, and it's a powerhouse team. Guys, it's been a great podcast. You've got 20 years experience with me, very similar with Corbin. How many years you've been in the business full time and had your own office and everything, Corbin?
I've had my own office about 5 years now. I've been in the business about 7 years now, but my loan partner, John, has been doing this for 35 years.
Yeah.
I ask him every day.
It's 40 or 50 years when you add everybody up. And it's the same
Mhm.
thing with me, right? The
Yeah.
two buyer listing agents, myself, and Kylie, the administrative agent. Yeah. And when you have the right energy on the team, all that matters is ethics, morals, and taking care of the client. If here's a quote, everybody should memorize this: be of service first, and everything else follows. Be of service first, and everything else follows. That's the best thing you can do.
Exactly.
And here, clients matter. So Phil, anything else you want to add, and we'll close it out, Corbin?
No, man. Thank you for having me. I think this is fun. I love doing these.
I got it.
A
And you
lot
know
of
what?
fun.
I'd like to say, Greg Reitz, the Reitz Real Estate Team, and Corbin Claypool, Vero Mortgage Lending Group in Fresno, California, Madera, and Clovis. We're both in Northeast and Northwest Fresno, close to River Park. You can call. We're here to help you. We have the home and the loan. The home and the loan. The right with the right home for you. Call Corbin Claypool Lending Group 559-313-5819. That's 559-313-5819. And Realtor Greg Reitz Team 559-260-1777. Greg 559-260-1777. You can direct message, you can call, text, and we're here to help you.
Awesome.
We share because we care. Hopefully everybody got something out of this. It comes from the heart. We wish you the best.
All right. Thank you, Greg, for having me.
Talk to you soon. Bye.